closer to you. We're moving right along, and we will jump to topic number one. Topic number one is, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? And, just to ask the question right off the bat is, should blacks concentrate on fixing their problems in America and take responsibility for changing our circumstances? A very difficult question. And this came from Facebook, from a group called Enough is Enough. And I reposted it. It, and people thought, on our group, Urban Renaissance Arts and Entertainment Group, the companion group for this show, people thought that these were my words. However, it was not my words. It came from a guy named DJ Deejay, and DJ writes. Let me find it here. I think you have it on the screen. DJ wrote, and it caused a lot of controversy. Until blacks take some responsibility for their own predicament and 100% responsibility for fixing it, they will continue to be where they are as a people. Constantly blaming others does nothing to change where we are in this country. Until we put as much effort into worrying about us as we do worrying about them or they, then we will continue to be where we are as a people. Why spend so much effort on who dug the hole when we should spend more effort on getting out of the hole? Nothing we can do about the past, but we are in charge of our future, and we can dictate what that future is if we put forth the effort. A lot of people,
that sounded a little ignorant.
A lot of people, right? So this was just, what I noticed is it was either you loved it or you hated it.
Yeah.
There was no middle ground. A lot of people wrote agreed, agree 100%, right on, things like that. And a lot of people wrote, this is ignorant, foolish, he doesn't know what he's talking about. There was really no middle ground. And since Monique jumped out of the gate, we're going to give the floor to Monique Latisse.
My question is, where are we? Like, what is he referring to? Like, is he referring to our economic status? Is he referring to us, what is he referring to? That's what I would like. I would respond, send him a message back. What are you talking about? That's my only question to him. What are you talking about?
What do you guys think that he's talking about? That's a good question, Monique. Maybe OBT can give us his take on what he thinks Jay might have been talking about.
Well, I just think that Jay may be thinking about, like in this city, there's not too many black businesses in this city. And we complain about why we're not getting the money or we're not getting the support, why we're not getting certain things in order to achieve certain things that we want. Mm-hmm. Like, it's the white man's fault. Oh, wait a minute, let me just finish. And it just reminded me, when I read this, it reminded me of your boy, Chris Rock.
Yeah, that's my
when
man.
He was doing his comedy, he stand up and he said that, he said, when you went to the ATM machine, something similar to this, I'm not going to say it right, of course. When you went to the ATM machine and somebody stuck you up, all right, it wasn't a white man. It was the brother who just stuck you up. Mm-hmm. So he's just saying that we're in certain circumstances. You just got to stop trying to blame people for where you are. In other words, take ownership of what you're doing. If you're just like you said, you wanted to know, what your purpose was. Mm-hmm. All right. 20 years went by. You went, you started thinking about it. It was open. And now you're on your way. So we got to, Whitey can't stop you. He will if you let him. Right. Like maybe you won't be able to get into a white establishment to tell your jokes. But you can continue to do what you're doing and move forward. So I'm thinking, just stop blaming people. Like, I can't get my education because why you won't let me get my education? No, that's not true. Just take ownership.
I haven't heard people say that in a long time. People still say that?
Well, I don't think some people.
I can't get ahead because I can't get into Caroline's because the white man. I can't get on this stage because of the white man. Like,
No, people
Well,
do.
I was going to
Go ahead,
say,
Misty.
people have that attitude. There's a lot of people who have that attitude, whether they say those exact words, they'll use different references, they holding us back or this, that, and the third. But me, I'm going to have to say, I agree with DJ. I agree with him because you know what? If you sit around and you talk about where we are, we don't have our own establishments, we don't own banks, and we don't own. Okay, we don't. So what are we going to do to make that change? We can sit here all day and talk about why we don't have something or why we're not as far as why we don't own property and why our bank accounts don't look a certain way and why we don't live in certain suburbs and why we don't drive. We could do that all day, but that's not going to get us where we're complaining that we need to be. Mm-hmm. So my thought is this, you never forget what happened to you. Absolutely never forget what happened. Never forget, how we got where we are. But you also have to be in the mix of trying to get up there, do a little bit better. And you can't get there by sitting around every single day blaming somebody else for what's happening in your life.
Right.
That's just like a little kid. You go in there and the little kid does something wrong. Okay, whatever you did wrong, that's over with. What are you going to do right to make it better? So I agree with old boy, with everything that he's saying. I think that some people get real sensitive and they want to call, all right, even, no disrespect, but even to you, that's ignorant. Mm-hmm. Anybody's opinion, in my eyesight, shouldn't be considered as ignorant because that's just his opinion. And I'm not beating you down. I'm just saying in general, that's just how we are as a people.
And I agree with you. And you do have freedom of speech, but what I felt was funny is that he didn't really say what he was referring to.
Well, sometimes you just have to read between the lines. You have to understand because we always complain about the same thing. To me, whatever he's talking about is a straight given. We're always complaining about what they did to us 300 years ago and why we're not where we should be and we never got our 40 acres and a mule and we didn't get. Okay, we didn't get it. What are we gonna do about not having it?
But I think a lot of that another thing is, if you're waiting,
us. We are. And
well, that's what he's saying.
That's what he's absolutely. And if you're waiting for the person who put you in a bad situation to make it better for you, it's not gonna happen.
True.
It's just so people just need to wake up and realize, yes, this did happen to us. Yes, it did affect us, and let's always remember it. But we have to do better for ourselves. And I agree with the guy. I'm being repetitive at this point, but that's my take.
Yeah. I just felt like he was coming from. It sounded a little angry to me. Where maybe he had a personal experience, and that's where he was coming from.
I get angry with our people for just doing that too. I get very angry because you can't just keep complaining. Well, you know what? You just can't keep complaining. If you're going to keep complaining, you're not going to do anything to me. You should just shut up.
Right.
Point blank, period. If you're not going to do anything to change it, can you please stop talking in my earwaves? Right. So I understand the frustration because, like I said, our people across the board, depending on who you follow on social media or what you pay attention to, all we do is complain about what happened to us 300 years ago.
And I guess that's it. I don't like to be around complainers. I'm very careful about who I have in my circle, who I have in my life. So I don't really hear everyone that's in my life is moving towards something.
Exactly.
So I don't really hear that energy and hear that, this shouldn't. Why is this still happening? We can't do this. Everybody in my life is doing something. Not that we're where we want to be, but as long as you're moving towards, that's the most important thing. Now, if you're sitting home and you're saying that what I don't like is when people say, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Do it.
I can't find the money to do this. I can't find the money to go back to school. I can't find a husband, so I got to, anything that you want to me. If it's meant for you to have, you're gonna have it. Whether you're white, black, Chinese, Italian. So it's not really a race thing. It's just a matter of you being hungry. Mm-hmm.
Well, some of the stuff, I'm sorry, Katie, I know you want to say something. Some of the stuff, you can perceive as how you want to perceive it as to be real. Like on my job, I'm the angry black man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? At my job, I'm the angry black man. There's a supervisor, and there's only one African-American male supervisor, and all of what we have, and all the people that we have at my job. So, when it came out, there was an evaluation that was going on, and I had to write an evaluation. And actually, the evaluation is supposed to be for promotions. So we don't get that. Bonuses, rather. We don't get that no longer on our job. So when I got the, evaluation, decided I'm going to write what I wanted to write. So I wrote down, listen, since, we don't get bonuses anymore, why am I filling out this evaluation? That's number one. Mm-hmm. Two, my question to everybody in human resources and everybody who runs this place, why is there only one African American male in that high position? One. They said, Todd, you going to hand that in? I said, yeah, blank Skippy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I did. So I'm the angry black man. And I hear what he's saying, that if you want something, you have to go after it. Some of the stuff is real. You know, you want to call it nepotism or whatever you want to call it. They only take care of their own people, what have you. Fine. But we need to be in a position to where we can start taking care of our own people and stop complaining about it. I do that to raise consciousness of all the white people that's at my job.
I hear you.
You know, that's what I do.
I see where he's coming from, most definitely. But I've learned to try to take a step back and see where the people who don't appreciate or don't like or don't understand what he's talking about, and try to see where they are coming from too. And I find, especially on social media, I find most of the time there's more true agreement than disagreement, even though it seems like there's a lot of disagreement. The disagreement comes in what you decide to focus on. Like when Monique, she was focusing on the fact that he didn't specifically say
where we were,
what he was
right.
exactly referring to, or what have you. But it's a long going and ongoing conversation where people choose to focus their energy on what happened in the past and calling certain people devils. And it's good to acknowledge and understand what took place. But at the same time, I think what DJ is saying is that at some point you're going to have to do something. And I like what Ms. T was saying, expecting the person who put you in a bad place to suddenly change his mind about it and, give you even what he might owe you. It's probably not going to happen. I don't know where in history where that's happened.
Yeah, don't hold your breath.
Yeah, we done these people wrong, and we're going to make these people whole, especially with us. So nobody seems to be trying to make us whole. So if we want to get whole,
gotta do it ourselves.
Yeah, that's just my opinion. But that doesn't take anything away from our history, our legacy, what happened to us. We need to acknowledge that, understand that, continue to learn about that, and continue to promote it.
Right.
Just like other cultures do, they promote that we had this Holocaust and this was very bad and it was unfortunate and it was it was messed up, it was horrific, and they promote that. So going in that these are the people who experience this particular hardship. And so I say, let's continue to promote that, but let's not get stuck in just promoting that while we're not, like DJ said, not getting ourselves out of the hole that somebody else dug for us. So I think it was, I got to give DJ his props and everybody who chimed in on our group and also on the other group on Facebook, which is called Enough is Enough. Our group is the Urban Renaissance Arts and Entertainment Group. Join our group today if you haven't done so. And remember that you can always chime in on this and the other topics that we talk about at 973-460-8931 is the